It took me 20 years to finish Halo Combat Evolved. In this video, I try to explain why. Imagine me as a young teenager playing Halo Combat Evolved. I believe it was a pirated copy, you'd have to ask my brother, on my dad's computer. Like so many others experienced at that time, the game had me hooked. The freedom of its level design, the satisfying gameplay loop, the music, the multiplayer, all of it made it a game I could play for hours on end. However, it was one of those games that I never actually finished. One of those games where I got stuck. We all know them. You suddenly hit a moment in the campaign where you just can't pull it off. You feel frustrated. You try, and then you stop trying. That's what happened to me. To give you some context, the game starts off with you crash landing on a mysterious ring, Halo, orbiting a planet. You're tasked to keep an AI out of the hands of humanity's mortal enemy, the Covenant. The first half of the campaign sees you combating the alien forces of the Covenant and teaming up with human allies now and then. However, the game goes for a surprising twist halfway through in an iconic level well beloved by Halo fans. 343 Guilty Spark. You drop into a misty swamp, alone. No music, just eerie silence. The mission, find Captain Keyes and prevent him from doing something? Cortana had no time to explain. The level starts out quiet, slowly, as you head through the swamp, encountering Covenant who seem to be running away from something. You enter an underground base, only to find bloodstains, broken bodies, slain humans and Covenant. But they were not fighting each other. It becomes clear they were fighting something else. The storytelling and sense of dread in this mission is just stellar game design. There's just you and the base, and all of the story at this point is delivered to you by little scenes in the mission, little subtle touches where you find corpses piled up, you find on top of a crate, you find Covenant and humans side by side. You find turrets pointed inward instead of outward, pointed towards something deeper inside this underground base. And then you find a log, a video log, of the final moments of a human marine. You see them being attacked by strange bug-like creatures, and their whole unit seems to be wiped out. Then you realize you are in that same room. A few moments of anticipation and dread go by, and then suddenly the flood arrives. A hive mind of parasitic creatures that streams into the room. This enemy hadn't been present in any of the marketing for Halo. It took everyone who played it by surprise, and the same went for me 20 years ago. However, by the skin of my teeth, I survived. I blasted my way out of that base, desperate, panicked, encouraged by the wonderful music that played. I had done it. I had survived the flood, and one of the greatest levels I've ever played in a shooter. And then comes a level that is notorious, infamous among all of the Halo fans. A level that is divisive and still sparks heavy debate online, and plenty of videos about it inspired me to record this one. It is called The Library. Whereas the previous level was one about narrative, about storytelling, this level is one long, drab, dark, repetitive march through an alien dungeon of sorts, and for the entire span of the mission you are bombarded by the flood. There's no story, there's no build-up, there's no change of pace. You shoot and run and shoot and run and shoot and run through a maze-like environment that never changes and never offers a twist or a turn. Teenager me? I couldn't. I was overwhelmed by this level. I just couldn't hack it. I don't even think I got very far into this mission at all. I died and died and died and died again. And, well, just stopped. I stopped playing. I played the multiplayer, sure, for a while, but after a while I stopped even doing that. I hadn't beaten Halo, it had beaten me. I uninstalled the game and moved on. I played other games. Now, Approximately 20 years later, I saw the Master Chief Collection on sale on Steam. I bought it and started playing Combat Evolved again. And the whole way through, I was having so much fun, rekindling that old love for this game that even had me playing it during Christmas Eve, right until my brother scolded me and rightly dragged me back downstairs. But I knew the library was coming. When this level first loaded, I did what I did 20 years ago. I ran in, guns blazing, and I died. I tried again, I died again, and I thought to myself, there's no way this is happening. There's no way 20 years of gaming has gone by through these fingers and I still can't beat this level. So I took some deep breaths. I read online about how this level is so polarizing for fans. Some defend it, saying it illustrates perfectly the inevitability of the flood, its overwhelming power and the need to end it. Others decry it, stating it is an ugly, repetitive slog that offers no surprises, it offers no storytelling. I knew I had to try for myself. I went back in, took some deep breaths, and tried again. It started clicking. You move forward, trigger the wave of enemies, and move backwards, never crossing that next threshold that would trigger the next flood. You use assault rifles for the smaller flood, you shotgun the bigger ones, you never stop moving, you never hesitate. I fell into a monotonous, almost zen-like groove. I became entranced by the mission, and not only did I start to understand the system to beat it, I started enjoying myself immensely. After a while, the level I had dreaded became childishly simple. Not easy, but straightforward. The bare basics of FPS games. The lack of variety, the tedious design, it didn't bother me. This was a gauntlet, a challenge, not just offered up by the game, but by my teenage self, who had been sitting in front of his dad's computer for 2 decades, waiting to defeat the library. The sense of accomplishment when I finally beat it was intense. So I will come out and say it right now, I think the library is an amazing level. Not because it is good, but because it does precisely what it needs to do. You absolutely despise the flood after this mission and would do anything to see it destroyed. It wasn't well designed, but almost unintentionally it does this thing so well. In addition, I love the library because it has become a monument to my growth as a gamer. The patience, insight and reflexes I simply didn't have 2 decades ago, I have since acquired. I now know so much more about games and can see all sides of the argument when it comes to this mission, but this was a victory over myself. And that is why I will never forget the night when that elusive cutscene played that I had never seen before. Of course, the next few levels are some of the hardest that Combat Evolved has to offer and are actually far more challenging than the library, at least to me, but I had never been stuck there, so there was no emotional connection, just straight up fun. And thinking back, Halo Combat Evolved isn't the only game where I hit a wall and walked away. There was Medieval 2, where a fight in a boxing ring against an opponent made of iron completely crushed me. I never finished that game. In Jedi Outcast, there is a fight in a hangar where I had to get on a ship as I was assaulted by enemies from all sides. I never managed to get past that. Each time, I eventually gave up, convinced I just wasn't good enough. But coming back to Halo after 20 years made me realize something. It's not always about pure skill. Sometimes it's about the way you approach a challenge, the patience, the strategy, the ability to adapt. These are things you don't necessarily develop in the moment, but over time. When I came back to the library, I wasn't just better at shooters, I was better at thinking through problems, recognizing patterns, staying calm under pressure. The level in Ratchet & Clank on the PS2 where the water is rising and you have to escape the sewers, I came back to it a month later, beat it on the first try. escaping the Ginso tree in Ori and the Blind Forest, went away from the game for a week, came back and did it. And that makes me wonder, how many other challenges in gaming and in life aren't actually impossible, but just require the right timing, the right mindset, or simply more experience. Maybe stepping away isn't failure, it's just part of the process. So now I want to hear from you. What's your white whale in gaming? That one boss, that one level, that one impossible challenge that defeated you, maybe for years, only for you to finally overcome it much later? Let me know in the comments, I'd love to hear your stories. I haven't really made a video like this before, just me sharing my thoughts on a game and not a planned game for once. But I really enjoyed making it, so I hope you enjoyed watching it too. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe if you want to see more like this in the future. No pressure, just glad you're here. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.